Hey guys, Nick here. Uh, this commenter asked for kind of my process from start to finish. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how I do this. I'll show you guys all the tools that I have, the methods that I use, and kind of my inking techniques. So before we get into that, here's what I'm reading. I'm reading Will Eisner's A Contract with God trilogy. Pretty cool inks in here. If you're into like cartooning, I'd absolutely recommend this book. It gets a little crazy, so just be prepared. It's for adults. But yeah, let's get into the video. All right, so to start it off right now, I'm blocking in a panel using a mechanical pencil and a ruler that costed roughly $5 altogether. From there, I usually have something in my head already in mind that I want to sketch out. If I don't, I'll tend to do some thumbnails on a different sheet of paper, but today I wanted to draw a girl outside her house saying hello. I play a lot with shapes, and that comes from hours and hours of life drawing to really understand the human anatomy so I can push and play with it and make some fun characters. Recently, I've been into the comic strips of Gene Hazelton, who did all the Flintstone comics in the 70s, so my style has been gravitating towards more graphic shapes these days. Here I'm using my AIMS lettering guide to make sure my letters come out straight. I'd recommend a metal or wooden ruler for the lettering guide because my plastic one is curved and the guide kind of falls off. Now I'll tie down the character, adding some clothes and details that I want to see more pronounced in the sketch before I go to the final inks. When you start inking a lot, you don't need to tie down as much, but it's still very important to know where your hand is going to move around the page before your comic panel. When you start inking a lot, you don't need to tie down as much, but it's still very important so you know where your hand is going to be moving around the page when you make your comic panel. It's also okay to erase. This arm wasn't where it needed to be, so it's okay to redo. There's just no undo button like in Photoshop, so I miss it, but it's worth the time, promise. If you need some pencilers to look at, I'd recommend checking out folks like Ryan Otley, Corey Walker, Mike Mignola, the Hernandez brothers, and Chris Ware. They have some great pencils that you can get a lot of info and teaching of just by looking at them. Here I'm starting the inks with the border. I use a 12-point micron pen and use my ruler to make sure everything is nice and straight. You can freehand it too if you want. Now I'll use a smaller point pen to put in the letters and draw the speech bubble. I've been enjoying using thick to thin lines, as you'll see here, and it gives the drawing a lot more life on the page. Rhythm always ups your drawings by a huge amount too. Now it's time to ink the character. Here I have a Hunt 52 nib that has a lot of flexibility. I believe Hank Ketchum used something similar when drawing Dennis the Menace. So you can get a nice clean thin line like this, or a nice fat thick one depending on how hard you push the nib down. I always try to go slow and steady, making sure I use the pencils as guides, but also trusting my inking skills to deviate when needed. Some inkers to check out are again the Hernandez brothers, Gene Hazelton, Hank Ketchum, Jill Thompson, Steve Purcell, Mark Hempel, and Dan DiCarlo. You can also check out some international artists too, like Yves Chalon, Osamu Tezuka, Mathieu Bonhomme, Yuki Nobutatsu, and Naoki Urasawa. Now for the background. Going back in with our 8-point, I'll play around with these grass shapes, keeping it fun but making sure it doesn't take away from the character in the foreground. Here I am going back again to add a bit of weight to the grass, as well as finishing out the detail. Sometimes I like to use my lettering guide as a tiny ruler for this guy, but I like a little wonkiness to the drawing, so we're gonna have fun with this house. Still gonna make sure that it doesn't take away from the character, but complement her. It's also okay to add more details that weren't in the sketch. I wanted to add some background grass and some clouds, so I'm just going to do that freehand. Now to fill in the blacks. This brush is a bit too big, but we can make do. I'll be using my India black ink and filling out the places that need black. When finding places to use all black, we want to make sure that the composition is appealing to where we're putting it from. The black spot should either guide the eye around the panel or set the panel up so we don't notice it. Now I'm going back to the character to add a bit of detail to her pants, as well as her sweater. It gives the drawing a bit of detail without compromising the silhouette we inked earlier. And while I thought I was done, I didn't think there was enough black on the panel, so I decided to add just a bit to her hair, but keeping the top light so we could see her curls. I'm going to be going in with my smaller pen to hit the corners before using the brush so I don't ruin the silhouette. Now all that's left is to let the ink completely dry and erase all the pencils. If you don't let the ink dry, it might smudge, so leave for a while and come back. Wipe it off, and there you have it. All that's left is your signature. Alright, there you have it. That should be it for the video. If you guys want to support the channel, please pick up an Adventure Time comic book put out by Oni Press. I'm the writer on there. What else? I have a Patreon over here. I do like kind of a cartoonish superhero webcomic on the side, as well as working on the book that I keep showing you guys. So I'll see you guys in the next one, and comment down below what you want me to show you guys next. All right, take care.